Well, glory be and mercy me, we've done it yet again. Here we are, daily walk around the graveyard. I gotta be honest with you guys, man. Like, there's always news going on, and there's all this kind of stuff happening, and every video I watch, God has this sort of attitude about it. Everybody's all like, "Oh man, the world's on fire," and all this sort of stuff. And there's nothing really to report on. Like, Ukrainian war is going on. The America is escalating tensions in Southeast Asia as they are wont to do, right? The world is steadily cooking on fire. And I feel like I've just gotten to a place of acceptance about it all, right? And I feel like I'm over the anger and the depression and the grief and the bargaining and all of that sort of stuff, and I'm just in a position now where I'm like, okay, you lot want to burn the place down, you go off and do it. I know what I'll be doing, which is not participating at all. That's kind of the key to all of this, isn't it? Like, have you noticed that in, let's say, the climate change conversation, like, back in the 80s, ExxonMobil, their own scientists told them, hey, this is going to burn the whole place down if we keep doing this. And ExxonMobil's response to it was, let's tell a whole bunch of lies about it and keep doing it, right? And now that we're in the find out phase of this arrangement, right? Their response is, oh, here's a product. Here's a product that you can buy to help alleviate this crisis. Essentially, as people are lighting up around the country and around the world, right? And as our crops burn down and all this, these guys are looking at it not as from the position of, oh, how do we prevent this from happening and reverse the trend? They genuinely are looking at it from the position of, how do we make as much money as we can? How can we exploit and profiteer off of the backs of the dying people who are suffering because of our actions and our duplicitous lies that we've told? And it seems to me like there's a huge amount of people in the populace that are still buying into this idea that, oh, we just need to buy the right product, right? That's all. That's all that needs to be done. We just need to buy the right product. Oh, we weren't buying the right product before. The right product now is the the electric vehicle. That's the right product to buy. That'll let us continue acting the way that we've been acting, even though the entire universe and the world itself is telling us that if we continue doing this way, that our entire civilization will burn down. Carbon capture, right? That's the product that we can buy. That'll solve this problem so that we can continue acting in this way, completely just stomping around the world as if we own it. There just comes a point where we need to actually say to one another and to the world and to our politicians and to everyone, just not going to participate in this anymore. Now, of course, that's easier said than done, right? The system of capital is completely coercive. That food and shelter is withheld from you, right? We all know this is true. We just don't like to admit it. And then you get into really weird conversations with like your eco-fascist types who are like, well, if you can't sell yourself to the billionaire class, then you deserve to starve, right? Which is an absurdity. We're all randomly generated into the world. Food and shelter is a collective need that we all should have access to. And instead of acknowledging the reality of that collective need that we could all address collectively, we have a bunch of fascists pretending like it's an individual problem. Just individualize your individualism and you'll individually get your individualism. It's so childish in its outlook, but we're a fairly childish people, aren't we? We're a fairly childish people. We haven't even created a system of governance that allows us to actually say no to a behavior that's literally murdering us. That's literally going to burn the planet down. Like, and the very people who are defending this system of coercive violence that we can't say no to, that is going to destroy us, call it freedom. Isn't that the best? Isn't that the best part? That the people who are saying we need to defend capitalism and do capitalism harder because it's freedom. We have to stop participating. We have to stop acting the way that we're acting. Very, very straightforwardly. It's an issue of survival at this point, right? That the amount of effort that we should put in to the capitalist death cult should be exactly the amount it requires for our survival. No more. No more. They're not letting you buy houses. The houses are going to a billionaire class, to an investor class, to BlackRock, right? To your Bilderberg group, to your WEF guys, right? Your housing market is just another commodity for them to buy and own because they don't have anything else to buy. So what's the point of saving up for that? You can't get it anyway. You're not going to get it. It's over, right? This whole grift that they're perpetrating on us with the inflation ridiculousness, saying, oh, this is a monetary thing, when in reality they're just gouging us, right? They're just gouging us. They're just raising the prices, and our politicians are just shrugging and going, yeah, I guess they can just raise prices. That's your free market capitalism for you, right? Yeah, it turns out that when you create a monopoly, you can do what you want. And when you buy your politicians, you can do what you want. And we're seeing the outcomes. We're seeing what's going to happen. I feel like there is going to be a moment when people will finally take the step that I've already taken, which is that if you're a climate change denier or a dismissalist, you're more dangerous than the Nazis. I consider people who are climate change deniers, because even the Nazis weren't attempting to destroy themselves. They weren't attempting to destroy their own country and their own civilization the way that these climate change deniers and dismissalists are. And I think it's going to happen when the sea levels rise, right? When the sea levels finally rise, when the wiping out like Miami, wiping out Vancouver, right? Wiping out Louisiana, not to mention what it's going to do across China, throughout Europe, right? When the sea levels finally go, as they're reporting the Antarctic shelf is under a big threat of collapsing soon, right? We'll see finally how dangerous these psychopaths are, right? Right now we're all pretending like they're not psychos, but they obviously are. And very steadily, right? You're going to have a whole bunch of suburban people who have been basing their entire lives on the idea of driving around automobiles, basically being told that's not going to happen anymore, friend. And our culture, instead of making the wise decision and building a mass transit system, instead of actually creating a system that could go through the suburbs, actually pick these people up through a mass transit system, no, we're just going to tell them, well, if you can't afford an electric vehicle, you need to work harder. There's no reason to participate in this anymore, guys. Like, outside of getting your food, outside of getting your shelter, right? Outside of getting, like, whatever meager relief that you can get from this system of death, you should not participate in this. Just stop. Just stop. There's no other alternative. Your political class is not coming to save you. Elon Musk is not interested in saving you. He's interested in grifting you, right? And so what we have left is to just simply stop, to find like-minded individuals around you, to coexist with those people who have a like mind, to find a local market, to find a local group, to create groups nearby who understand and are living in reality and who are willing to actually move forward on these principles, and simply to abandon the conservatives, the liberals, the NDP, the Greens, right? To abandon these systems entirely, because these systems have already abandoned you, and they're not coming to save you. They're not interested in that. They're interested in subserviating themselves to the death cult that's actively working to destroy you. And yet we still all go to work. And yet we still are all focused on improving or reforming or changing. It's through reform, through incrementalism, this system of capital, when it can't be reformed, when it can't be changed. Like, I'm basically being told that, oh, Jeffrey Dahmer was just misunderstood, right? You know, dangerous serial killer psychopaths, they're just misunderstood. You know, oh, we can educate that out of them. When you have a culture that is as self-destructive and as childish as this, the only solution that remains, the only serious solution that remains, is to just stop. All right, guys, this will be the end of this one. Kind of a calm one, honestly. Like, share, subscribe. They're removing content like this off the internet, guys. They're banning leftist voices. They're removing leftists. We are in the era of neo-McCarthyism. It won't be too much longer until I'm gone too. So, like, share, subscribe, tell people I exist. Tell people there are people who are trying to fight back against the death cult. And hey, I've got a Patreon down below. Consider donating. It gets you into our Discord where we continue these conversations. We're building a solidarity movement. We're trying our best to organize locally. But right now we're well spread out. But who knows, maybe you'll come on in. Maybe you'll find a Manitoban, an Albertan, someone in BC, right? Someone on the East Coast who's desperately trying to organize on these principles, on this idea that it's stupid to continue contributing to your own destruction. So please consider donating below. Always remember, guys, you're a quantum being, right? A temporary refugee walking around this plane of existence through no permission of your own, through no consent of your own. And instead of us all coming together and acknowledging the reality of our existence and saying, hey, we all have collective concerns that we could eliminate collectively, we've ceded all power to a small group of psychopaths who are doing everything they can to destroy us. Rebel, revolt, repent. Good luck. We're gonna need it.